What's going on, brothers? What is going on? It's your dude, Mr. International Passports. Okay, we here for yet another Future Classic live stream. First and foremost, press a one in the live stream chat if you can hear me loud and clear. Mayday, Mayday, check 1 2, check 1 2. Who's here? Who's here? We are here in the building. Let me know right now. Um, Mr. Johnny, is my audio loud and clear on your end?
Your audio is loud and clear on my end. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So we got Guy in the building, Tensuke in the building. Awesome, awesome. So we here. Fantastic. So let's get straight into it, brothers. So welcome all. Okay. I hope you all are doing well wherever you are around the world. As you come in, please like the video. Likes are extremely important. Please comment throughout the live stream chat. Hit the PayPal for support. Please hit the super chats too to support the channel and the movement. Join the Patreon for upcoming financial intel and travel intel as well. And of course, IT intel too. So join the Patreon to get those benefits. Cop the merch too. That'd be greatly appreciated to support the movement and the channel. And of course, as you all know, Python course coming July 2024. I'll be taking in new people to teach Python, and we all have a great Python course this time around. Shout out to my previous cohort of students. They did awesome, and they're going to have very successful careers in their IT career. So let's get straight into it, brothers. Okay. So I've got my former Python student called Mr. Johnny. Okay, who's here to break down his time in Panama. You know, I went to Panama last year. I think I kind of put Panama on the map. Is that so, Johnny? Do you think I put Panama on the map for passport pros?
You most certainly did, man. Your trip there definitely got my attention.
Awesome, awesome. So Johnny, IT bro, for former Python student of mine, was remote working in Panama. He had a taste of the woman, of course, the culture, the food, the nightlife. So we're going to get that full intel from Mr. Johnny. So let's get straight into it on this Wednesday evening over there in the States and this Tuesday or Thursday morning over here in the UK. So Johnny, how you doing today, brother? You good, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm solid. No complaints.
Fantastic, brother. Fantastic. So, Mr. Johnny, do you mind giving us a brief intro as to who you are, where you're from, and anything interesting about you, bro?
I'm Johnny Walker, based in the United States, born and raised on the East Coast, specifically New Jersey. I got a few degrees in chemical engineering. After I finished up my doctorate, I was hired by a tech company out west that makes chips, and went out there about 2016. Um, and I think, yeah, I'd say I was about 28 years old at the time when I was hired, and I've been working in tech pretty much ever since. Some of my, my hobbies, things that I do in my spare time, all revolves around tech, supply chain, cloud, that sort of thing. Got a few other hobbies too, like, powerlifting, snowboarding, obviously traveling domestically and internationally. I'm a crypto enthusiast. Um, and yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums it up. I started traveling in 2017 when a relative of mine introduced me to it. Believe it or not, I hadn't gotten my first passport until I was about, well, I want to say 20, almost 30, 29 years old.
Damn.
And yeah, it's crazy, right? But what I learned is that, like, a lot of Black Americans, they, at least when they're young, they typically don't travel that much. A lot of us don't even really leave our home state, or the coast that we're living on. Um, and Yeah, to us, America is all there is. But I have an aunt who's traveled the world. She's been to scores of countries, highly educated too, and everything. But she's one that got me into traveling heavy, and yeah, so I started traveling in 2017. And once I started, I was kind of hooked, but it wasn't like anything that was like the typical things that draw guys nowadays out of the country. Those weren't the things that were really drawing me at the time. Initially, it was just I was just curious about other cultures. Um, Trying out different cuisines, and also reconnecting with friends that I had kind of spread out across the world from various odd jobs that I had taken on when I was um, in college and early on in grad school. But I want to say, you know, 5 years, 6 years into traveling, I started to um, realize the other benefits of traveling, you know, like, the better climate, the better treatment that you get, just from, not just from women, but from men in general, and from the societies that, you'll go to at large. You get this different vibe, this different reception as an American, whether you're black or white, when you travel abroad. Um, that coupled with the fact that I don't see myself retiring in the United States when I'm older. I definitely want to live somewhere else abroad in my older years. And so now, when I travel, it's with the purpose of, not only exposing myself to a different culture, different cuisine, but I'm also trying to figure out, okay, could I see myself living in this culture, long term? Could I see myself, maybe starting a business in this country long term? How do the people like generally receive me? Do I see myself, dating in this culture? Things like that. And so right now I'm sitting at about 14 countries, and looking to add more to the list. But Panama was the most recent country that I checked off, and I had a good time, and figured I'd come on your channel with your invite, of course, and report out about it.
Thank you, brother. I much appreciate for your time and coming on here and sharing the gospel to brothers, bro. Much appreciate.
You're welcome.
So, Panama, brother, Panama City, Panama. Can I ask you why you actually? But before we even break down Panama City, brother, right? Definitely want to speak about obviously IT. You're an IT bro. I'm an IT bro, and I've been pushing out IT right for the past several years as a way to get out of the matrix, remote working, earning dollars, pounds, Canadian currency, a strong currency, and letting your money go further abroad. That's a cheat code right now. IT, stocks, crypto, particularly IT, right? So, brother, you're an IT brother, and you took my Python course, I believe, last year, brother. Now, brother, do you want to tell brothers why they gotta join my Python course in July 2024? Because we're not playing no games here as brothers, as educated brothers, as nerdy brothers who've been through a lot in the black community. IT is a way of freedom to get away from BS, brother. Break it down for us, Johnny.
Sure, with pleasure. So, um, I think, and we could spend we could spend a whole segment talking about the issues driving it in detail. But to pretty much sum it up, um, America, specifically for Black men, but I mean, really for a lot of, Western men in general, America's really only good for the economic prospects that it provides to you, right? If you're a guy that wants to get connected socially, that is like, especially a Black man, you want to get connected socially to brothers here. You're looking for a decent dating experience here. You're looking to, just live healthily, right? It's incredibly hard to do that here. You know, uh, Food isn't very good. Um, our community, like as Black men, doesn't really have our back. It's kind of oriented against us, and if we want to participate, we have to. We're going to be participating in that community on the community's terms. And when I say that, I'm talking about Black women and the Dr. Umar Johnsons and the Simps that support those Black women. You're going to be used as a tool. Family building is pretty much almost impossible to do as a Black man here. Our image is tarnished here, and I, I don't see, unless things radically change, I don't see a path for us to get what we had back decades ago. So the best solution in my mind and in your mind and a lot of other brothers' minds is to leave, but you don't want to give up the economic opportunities that are here. Specifically, those economic opportunities in cloud, IT, tech in general, because those are the opportunities that allow you to tap into the American job market and make what we would consider very, very competitive salaries. But they give you the flexibility or the possibility of working remote. So, like my job is technically hybrid, but it's essentially remote because I don't have to go on site very often. Um, and so the best way to do that is to, build your skills in cloud, build your skills in IT. And a big, big skill that I'm finding can make the difference between somebody getting a job in tech and not getting a job in tech, or getting a job in cloud specifically and not getting a job in cloud specifically, or, separating yourself within a tech group is knowing Python, knowing that language. In the engineering groups that I've been a part of at the company that I work for, the folks that knew Python and had a mastery of it, they were always set apart from the folks that didn't, and they could do things, automate things, pull things, query things, um, uh, that you know honestly improved the way the group functioned, made the group more robust, made our lives easier, shortened job times. So that's part of why I joined your Python course, because I was already involved in Thiel's cloud courses. I've got a couple of cloud certs underneath my belt, and I wanted to kind of beef up that portion of my portfolio by learning Python. And since you're a Python wizard, you're a Python master, and you're offering that course for really, really, I don't remember what the dollar figure was, but it's very, very affordable. I think most average guys can afford it. If you can afford a pair of Jordans, then you can definitely afford IP's Python course. And yep, I was part of your first batch of students. We started, I think, late November of 2022, and it continued all the way until April of 2023. And I learned so much through those several months, how Python works, what you can use it for, how to really utilize the language to uh, get anywhere from easy to medium or mid-level projects done, and even just the way learning the language kind of programs your mind to think in a logical, ordered way. It's helped me in my scripting at work. So I've actually been able to make scripts at work, and kind of just apply that skill and that way of thinking to automate certain things within my job so that I can get things done quicker. So took your Python course, did all the projects, got a lot out of it, and just that way of thinking, that methodology I've applied that at work, and it's rewarded me really well. So my message to brothers is, if unless you've already got a plan set in stone, and you're kind of aimless or wandering, and you don't know um, how to get out of the matrix, you don't have a path. Theo and IP are offering you a really, really straightforward, if you will, path to um, um, getting a position in cloud, getting a position in the tech market. Um, with Python on your resume, you're definitely going to at least get recruiters looking at you. You're going to get interview opportunities, and from there, it's just about nailing the interviews. Once you nail the interviews, you're in like Flynn, and you can expect to be making, if not six figures, something close to six figures. I would imagine at minimum 90,000 USD. And what that's going to allow you to do, especially if it's a remote job, it's going to allow you to, you know, pick up your laptop and live abroad, but you're still getting paid, that very, very high American wage. And so that's you being able to take advantage of the incredible economic productivity of the American market, but without having to deal with any of the BS. Okay. without having to deal with any of the unhealthy food, the negative imagery and narratives surrounding black men. You don't have to deal with the communita, pretty much Keisha and them. You don't have to date them. You can completely avoid them. Um, you can pick a country of your choosing, go to a country that has a climate that agrees with you, and pretty much live your life like a normal human being, and um, have a more vibrant social life. You know what I mean? So, and because otherwise, I mean, you're just you know there's I don't think America's offering a better alternative. It's just not. So yeah, sign up for that course, guys, if you want your life to change.
Awesome breakdown there, Johnny. But it was a pleasure teaching you, bro. You're a very smart man, and it shows in your career progression, bro. So keep on pushing forward, bro. Major big success coming your way, brother. But I know you're already successful, but I want you to be more successful, brother. So well done there, Johnny. So Panama, brother. Okay, Panama City, bro. Of all places, why did you pick Panama, brother? Why didn't you
That's
pick Russia, Ukraine, China? You know, uh,
a
why Panama?
That's a good question. So yeah, to some degree that does go back to my background and some of the things I already know. So I grew up in a predominantly Black and Hispanic neighborhood or neighborhoods because I moved around a lot when I was little. Lived in like four different cities in New Jersey, but I've always been around Latinos and Latinas, somewhat familiar with their culture. Um, it was the main reason I decided to pick up 3 semesters of Spanish in high school. So I took 3 semesters of Spanish. I had a lot of Spanish friends in undergrad, and got a chance to practice it a little bit. So going back as far as like my adolescence and my early teen years, I've always been exposed to or had an appreciation for the Spanish culture. So the Spanish speaking countries appeal to me. Um, so with Panama, the way I was looking at it was, okay, well, I've been to several Latin American countries, including Mexico, Costa Rica, Chile, Colombia, Brazil, um, and I said to myself, well, I already know a lot of Spanish. I do need a break from the Matrix because this was recent. I went, this past April, and uh, I knew that you had gone to Panama the year before, and so I decided, well, I'm thinking about, where I might want to spend, a year or two abroad while I'm working, and Panama was like on the short list, at least top three. So I said, how about I go there and check it out, see what the scene is like, you know, talk with guys that have already been there, talk with IP, see what the vibe is like. Go there and see for myself. Could I see myself? Working from there, living there, enjoying life there, dating there, being a passport bro, so to speak. There. So that's pretty much why I chose Panama.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. So, brother, you are in Panama City, brother. Um, so I say my first question to you, brother, is accommodation, brother. So, where were you in Panama City, brother? Where did you stay at? Was it Airbnb? Was it hotel? Was it in San Francisco? Was it in Casco Viejo? Break it down for me, bro.
Uh, Very good question. So I stayed at a 4-star hotel in San Francisco, the San Francisco neighborhood. So very
Woo!
quickly, yeah, Panama
I love
has
that place.
Panama has uh, quite a few districts, um, and at least two or three of them are like I guess what you would consider either like higher end or leaning touristy. districts. And Casco Viejo, San Francisco, those are like two of those districts, right? And I knew I was either going to, spend time in either Casco Viejo or San Francisco, so I decided to stay in San Francisco. And I stayed at the Ramada Plaza by Wyndham, um, 4-star hotel. I knew it was going to have nice accommodations. I knew I was going to need, reliable internet, access to reliable accommodations, amenities, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's where I ended up staying for 8 days.
Amazing, brother. Amazing. So you mentioned reliable internet. You mentioned a reliable, comfy space, right? So you're an IT brother. So I'm guessing, brother, you were remote working in Panama, right? How's it like remote working, brother, in Panama, brother, in that environment with strong internet, away from the matrix, just you on your laptop, sipping pina colada. We can have
Man, I mean, working remote, away from the matrix in that kind of environment, it almost, I mean, it almost feels like you're on vacation, even though technically you're not, right? So like, when I'm in the matrix and I'm working, uh, it's definitely not a vacation, obviously, but I also feel all of those other external pressures, um, that come with just living in the United States of America as a black man. But when I'm working abroad, uh, and I'm working remote, and obviously when I'm utilizing your system that allows me to work remote without companies knowing, um, it's almost like a vacation. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of peace of mind there because the company doesn't know any better that I'm working abroad. Um, I'm in a better I'm in a better climate. I have access to better food. Um, um, the people are friendly. The people are warm. They're welcoming. They're very accommodating, treating me with the utmost respect simply because I'm American. I'm bringing the American dollar. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's especially given the fact that Panama City's, it's pretty much first world, very advanced, a lot of skyscrapers, very safe. It's almost like working in like an American city with decent infrastructure. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing, brother. I remember my time in Panama as well. I couldn't believe a South American nation could be like that. I remember being in San Francisco, Casco Viejo, was it El Barrio, walking down skyscrapers, seeing brothers, well to do as well, giving them a head nod, just chillaxing in the park, seeing beautiful Latinas. It was definitely a vibe. And I was also remote working there a bit as well in Panama. And I definitely love this. I definitely do agree with you there, brother. So accommodation wise, IT wise, awesome for you, brother. So, brother, what about the black scene there, brother? So, in your time in Panama, did you come across black American men, black English men? Is there a black community there of thriving, maybe retirees or whatever, black men there prospering there, bro?
I'd say there. Well, I could say for sure there are, because wherever well, not everywhere I went, but there was some places where I went where they were out and about, um, either you know older brothers flying solo or black couples, that I could tell were American because I could overhear them speaking as I was either passing them by or if I was sitting a few tables away from them in a restaurant. Um, not too many black families, but definitely black men, black women, and black men and black women together. So yeah, I would say like we're definitely, at least Americans, we're definitely down there, uh, and we've got like a sizable presence. There are other tourists that are there. I got the sense that there were some that were from like Western Europe or Europe in general, going by some of the languages I was catching. I'm not as good at identifying the specific languages, but I'm like, okay, that sounds like that could be French or that could be German or that could be Italian. So there's definitely some Europeans there. I couldn't I don't think there were a lot of black English men there, which wouldn't surprise me because it's to you guys it's like on the other side of the world almost. But there were definitely like a lot of Black Americans there, and it kind of makes sense, right? Because we used to have an active military base there. So yeah.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. So, brother, from your observation there, brother, um, who would you say has the most power there in Panama? Because it is a multicultural society, but and I did see a lot of Chinese people there as well. But in terms of who actually runs the city and the country, who, if you can answer it, brother, if not, it's okay. But who do you thought actually runs that country or city, or who has the most power there?
Um, I think that's a good question. Um, I might not be the best to answer it, but I could try. I mean, definitely the Panamanians have like some measurable, significant degree of power there. Because I mean, I see them in managerial positions. Um, just running things, giving orders, giving directions. But from other research that I've done, like I also know that there are, um, there's a significant Asian or like a non-trivial Asian population there. Uh, Obviously, the whoish people are there. Uh, so I'm trying to code that, trying to be respectful, not trying to get anyone flagged or anything, but you get that sense that that there are other demographics there that do have a presence there. To what degree they've got like power and influence in the Panamanian government and state affairs, I'm not sure. I don't think it's like Mexico's situation, but um, I would say probably by and large it's probably mostly Panamanians that have the power, and probably I would say, you know, the fairer skinned probably, or uh, light skin or fair skinned Panamanians that have the power.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. So, next question for you, brother, right, is so you being a Western American black man, brother, how were you treated by Panamanian people, bro, in terms of respect, in terms of, acceptance, brother? Break it down for me, brother.
The complete opposite of almost the complete opposite of how I'm treated here in America. Here in America, I'm just another guy that's black. Um, doesn't matter, what the educate, what my education level is, or you know how I'm dressed per se. Not that that doesn't have some sort of mitigating effect. It can, but when you go abroad, and in this case Panama, and they know that you're American, they can tell you're American by either the English that you're speaking or the English accent with which you're speaking Spanish and how you're dressed. They already can tell you're a Westerner. They can already tell you're not from there. They can tell you're American, and they're just as accommodating as can be, as respectful as can be, um, in good spirits, a good attitude, and that goes for both the men and the women. Um, from the hotel attendants to the wait staff to the folks in restaurants, the folks in the malls. Um, it it permeates every experience you're going to have, and it just does wonders, I think, for your psyche, because as a black American, you don't get that kind of treatment um stateside. you know Almost like you have to be God. You have to kind of like, in order to get treated that way, or to earn that kind of treatment. So yeah, very respectful, very accommodating, very hospitable. um and I enjoyed every minute of it, obviously.
Amazing to hear, brother. Amazing, 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 amazing. So now, next question for you, brother, right, is in terms of uh, investments, bro. So from your observations, did you look at any sort of business opportunities over there in Panama, or investment opportunities that you saw that okay, we as possible could take advantage of that, bro?
Um, so I mean, when I would walk throughout the neighborhoods, I did see like advertisements for properties to be bought or spaces to be leased out. I also came across, expats from other countries that had settled in Panama that were like from Colombia and had come there to start businesses of their own. So I would say like there are business opportunities there in Panama. Um, and if passport bros should feel so inclined, they can go there and take advantage of them. I so like property, for example, if you can buy property there, it's I think it's going to be easy for you to like rent it out on Airbnb, put it on Airbnb and make money, simply because Panama City is it's it's a touristy city. It's a multicultural international city. It kind of joins Central America and South America. Plus, you get a lot of Americans and I would imagine probably Canadians going down there. But then there's an Asian population there. There are people from Europe that will go there and spend time there. So it's definitely not a place where if you wanted to get property and then rent it out, put it on Airbnb and use it as a way to increase your cash flow, generate a second income. There's that opportunity. Um, I I think like one Italian restaurant that I dined at, it was I think it was owned, I believe, or it was at least managed. It was either managed or owned by like an American guy, and I could tell he was American because he actually brought my food out. But he spoke in Spanish, but I could detect his American accent. Um, so you could go there and open up a restaurant too. So I'd say there's definitely business opportunities, investments you could make um, that would pay off. Again, the infrastructure's in place. It's very safe. Now it's not going to be as cheap, obviously, as like maybe some of these other South American countries, but there are trade-offs, right? So you know if you have the money to go and invest in Panama, you're definitely, I would think, going to make your money back and more, simply because it's very safe, the infrastructure's in place, and you know it draws people from all around the world. So I'd say, like, in short answer, yes, there's definitely business opportunities to take advantage of there.
Awesome, awesome, brother. So, so Bobby, you spent all your time in Panama City, right?
Yeah, all my time in Panama City between like San Francisco and Casco Viejo.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. So, how did you meet people and make friends, brother, and establish a connection in both those areas, particularly in Panama City, brother? How did you make friends and meet people?
Simply by talking to the people that had to wait on me. In restaurants, at the mall. Yeah, just simply talking to the folks that I was either being serviced by or I wanted to buy something from. Um, and another thing that I want to, like, I guess, throw out there is that, like, people are more approachable, or at least in my experience, and it hasn't always been this way, right? Like, there was a time in America where people were just in general more approachable, and I'd say that was probably before the onset of social media. It's just easier to approach people and spark up connections and get to know people. But like in America, it, I, I wouldn't spend a great deal of time doing it. Not to say that you couldn't do it and maybe get something out of it, but I think the ROI is just not there, and people aren't in a space where they want to be approached, men or women, I would say. But abroad, people are really, really receptive. People are still people abroad. People are still open and approachable and warm. And if you take the time to talk to them and get to know them, they'll open up and they'll talk to you, and maybe they'll share their story. So yeah, that's how I went about it. Just talking to the people that waited on me and serviced me, or people that I wanted to purchase something from.
Awesome, awesome, brother. Fantastic, fantastic. So now, next question for you, brother, is in terms of transportation. So in your time in Panama City, brother, how were you moving around? Was it the public transportation? Was it Uber, brother, or was it bus? Break it down for us, brother.
The way I was moving around predominantly was split between either walking or Ubering around, and I'd say yeah, both of those are pretty reliable methods. I mean, at least the neighborhoods that I spent time in, they're pretty walkable. But if I was, trying to move from one neighborhood to a different neighborhood, or from the end of one neighborhood to the other end of the same neighborhood, I got on the Uber app and called an Uber.
Thanks, bro, brother. And Uber is super cheap there, right, in Panama. It's unbelievable.
It is. It's very, very cheap. That's the other thing. Low cost, lower cost for food, lower cost for transportation, lower cost for goods, just cheaper all the way around. And that's primarily because you're coming there either with one of the world's dollars, whether it be Australian, Canadian, or the U.S. dollar, or you're coming there with euros or the Great British Pound.
Awesome, bro. When you landed in Panama City in the airport, did you take Uber to your hotel?
I most certainly did.
This brother knows, man. Uber is a cheat code over there to move around in Panama. Fantastic, bro. So, is Panama City, brother, a cash society, or is it cashless, brother, from your time there?
It's primarily cashless. Primarily cashless. Yeah, you're just gonna hand them, your credit card, and they're gonna tap it or swipe it or insert it on their machine, their card machine, and generate a bill. And you're gonna sign it, and that's gonna be that. Yeah, you're not really gonna you don't have to. Uh, you don't necessarily need physical notes. You can, go around with physical notes just in case. Like if you want to buy juice at like a local stand, maybe. But you can get pretty far with just your card.
Awesome, awesome, bro, awesome. So now, brother, I'm sure you love food. I love food. I think we all love food as human beings, right? We can't live without it, right? So, brother, how was food out there in Panama City, brother, in Panama, Panamanian food, brother? Do you like it? Is it tasty? And what was your favorite cuisine there, bro?
Um, I would, cause so I had a mix of things. The I predominantly went with like a lot of what was nearby. There was one time where I actually went to like an authentic Panamanian restaurant and had like authentic Panamanian food. Um, a lot of the names of it I don't quite remember. But obviously, it was, rice and beans is a staple in these Latin American countries. And if you're a lover of rice and beans, you're not going to go without it over there. Um, there's they also like offer like dishes there that where like they throw a bunch of ingredients and like mix it in a bowl and give it to you, with meat, beans, and cheese, and cassava, and things like that. And it was all right. It was decent. Um, for me though, it's not like top five or anything like that, or top 10, because I've pretty much settled on like what my favorite cuisines are, but they're decent. Um, and if the Panamanian cuisine isn't quite what would suit you, you're still gonna have other options, because again, there's lots of other restaurants, lots of other folks that brought like their culture's food. And so, like, if you wanted Italian food or Chinese food or Greek food or some other cuisine, you could get it there.
Awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. So, next question for you, brother, right, is now in terms of so cost of living. When you compare cost of Panama to America, is America more expensive? Is Panama more expensive? Yeah, give us cost of living aspects of Panama City, brother, Panama compared to America.
Sure. Significantly cheaper. Not as cheap as you could go if you were looking to relocate to Latin America in general. Because I'd say it's one of the more expensive places in Latin America. But it's still cheaper than what you're going to have to deal with in your typical American city by, it's probably going to be only like, maybe 60%, 60 to maybe two-thirds of what you would be paying in like a typical metropolitan area, like say Houston, for example. Because you're going to save on food and housing and just transportation, getting around, that sort of thing. So yeah, you're going to be able to save more because everything is going to be cheaper across the board. I guess unless you're like getting something that would have to be imported, like a car. Um, Other than that, it's just going to be cheaper all the way around by probably about two. It's going to be cheap by, I'd say, 30 to 40% cheaper.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now, brother, in terms of safety, obviously Central America, South America has many say, or some say, safety issues. But in your time in Panama, bro, was it safe in the nighttime, daytime when you were partying by yourself? Did you feel safe there, bro?
I did. And it should be a concern because not every country in Latin America is safe, as we know. We hear stories, people getting drugged and kidnapped and held up at whatever point to have their funds taken. But it was very safe where I was, and I was in more of like the touristy area, um, not far from like the neighborhood suburbs, and it was just very safe. It was safe for me to walk around. Uh, Safe for me if I wanted to talk to people. Um, when I was one day when I was walking to a restaurant that was like deep in the San Francisco neighborhood, and then walking back, a police officer just checked on me from across the street, and he said, "Está bien? Like, are you okay? Are you well? Is everything good? All good? Or todo bien? All good?" And I said, "Estoy bien. I'm well. I'm good." So, they the authorities are there, and they can recognize and tell if you're American, and if you are, they're looking out for you, because like they know you're a tourist, they know you're not from there, and they want to make sure that you have a that you have a that you're safe and that no one's bothering you, and that you're not lost too, um, because they want you to come back, obviously, and they want you to have a good time, be safe, and if you go, they probably want you to give a good report to your friends and family that I had a good time in Panama. You should go too. Um, and I would think, especially if you're American, they definitely don't want anything bad to happen to you. So, yeah, very safe.
Wow. So, brother, how do you think they were able to distinguish between you being American and not being American? How do Panamanians know, in your opinion?
I mean, for me, going by my physical appearance, I'm a little bit taller than they are. 5'11" without shoes, so maybe about 6 with shoes. I have a bit of a fro. The shoes that I wear, I don't, not necessarily shoes that you might find there. Um, the clothing, the way I walk, but more so, I think probably because of my height, that they can tell I'm black. Um, and especially if I open my mouth, for sure they're gonna know I'm American. But I would say, just going by my physical build, because a lot of Panamanians, they're they're but Latinos and Latinas there, they're shorter on average than 5'11", 6. So
Awesome, awesome, brother. So next question for you, bro. Now is now in terms of racism. Did you experience any sort of racism in Panama at all, bro? Any sort of slur said towards you in Spanish or in English at all?
no racism. I didn't experience any racism. No slurs hurled at me. Uh, no bad words used against me. Nope, nothing negative to report there, really.
But you know the Spanish word for black, negro, which in the West is a slur, and in some America's countries it can be seen as a slur. Was that said
hmm
towards you or any of the Panamanian people?
Fortunately, it wasn't said to me. I did come across a few like darker Panamanian people, but from what I could tell, they were treated with respect, and I couldn't. I mean, I didn't hear that word being used at them or on them.
Okay, awesome, bro. So, brother, so how do Black Panamanians live, brother? In Panama, are they an oppressed class? Because obviously, let's keep it real here, Johnny. Right? In Brazil, okay, I don't think Black Brazilians live well in Brazil and are treated with respect in Brazil, particularly Black ethnic Brazilians who are born and raised there, who speak Portuguese. Is that the same kind of treatment that they get in Panama, where the local Black Panamanians are, get treated pretty badly because they're black?
That's I think it's a good question. Um, I would say I probably would have needed to spend a lot more time there and visit quite a few more neighborhoods in order to be able to give a more comprehensive answer to that question. But I mean, going by where I was and where I stayed, I mean, I didn't see quite. I didn't see a lot of Black Panamanians, but I do know that Black Panamanians, mulatto Panamanians do exist, and they do live in Panama, but maybe they just don't live in the richer parts. And so I would assume that they would probably be living out and away from the richer areas where it's probably uh, maybe a little bit poorer, right? And definitely maybe on the eastern side of Panama that faces like the Caribbean islands and all that, because I know there's been some mixture between like the native Panamanian peoples and the Caribbean folks there. And I could also tell by by the way that the Black Panamanians speak. There's definitely a different subculture there. And they I would assume they probably do get treated differently because I do know that in Latin America in general, um, they they kind of favor lighter skinned Latinos and Latinas, and those folks generally have just access to better opportunities and living conditions and better jobs and in general. So um I mean I would say just off of my limited experience that to some degree there's probably that going on where they're probably not getting treated quite as fairly as they should. I don't think it's to the extent that uh what's been observed in Brazil, because from what I've heard in Brazil it's almost reprehensible, right? um but uh I don't think it's quite to that level in like a place like Panama.
Awesome. Okay, brother. Shout out to Mr. Mufasa in the building. What's up, Mufasa? How you doing, brother? Respect to the guests and my brother IP. Respect to you too, bro. Panama is golden as I'm completing my purchase of a high-rise condo in El Cangrejo. Good area, bro. Nice one. Well done there, Mufasa. Nines and dimes everywhere in this Central American paradise. Enjoy, brother. Salute to you, brother, for breaking out the matrix and Mufasa. Did you ever visit El Cangrejo, Johnny?
Unfortunately, I did not. I'll have to check it out next time I go.
Wonderful place, wonderful place. Shout out to you, Mufasa. Well done there, brother, for the purchase there, brother. Salute to you, bro. So, brother, when it comes to culture, right? Um, Is Panama a conservative culture or liberal culture, brother, from your eyes only, but from what you saw?
Uh, Going based off of what I saw, it leans conservative, and there are a few reasons why I say that. One, uh, it it's clear that the men operate fully in their masculinity. Um, they're unapologetic about it. Um, they're in charge, and the women know that. And I can just tell by how the woman and men interact with each other, that it leans traditional. Men are generally giving direction, women are taking it, men are leading, women are following. The way the women are dressed there, it's not like what you see in these rap videos. You know what I mean? It's not like, whatever, Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B are putting out there. They're dressed respectably. Um, I see more families. Generally, in conservative societies, you tend to see more families out and about, men and women, and one or two kids. Um, and you see it in the malls, you see it in the grocery store. So yeah, that's the vibe that I get. That it's more conservative, definitely more conservative than some Latin American countries, and definitely a hell lot more conservative than the United States of America.
Awesome, awesome, bro. So lifestyle, bro. So you being an IT, bro, remote working there, chilling out. What kind of lifestyle were you living there, brother? In your time there, was it like a bougie Bruce Wayne from Batman lifestyle? Break it down, bro.
Yeah, it was. I'd say it was more bougie. And that's because I've got a little bit of money, obviously making good money. Um, I was going out to nice restaurants most nights, hit up a few rooftop lounges, dressed well, and when I had a date out there, she was dressed well. I went to a cigar lounge, smoked a cigar, had some whiskey, um, and I mean, just living well and enjoying myself. But yeah, I'd say probably I was leaning bougie, definitely bougie. And I look at it as like a reward for enduring the Matrix. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Absolute facts, bro. And brother, what kind of lifestyle did you observe the average Panamanian living, particularly the black Panamanians, brother? What kind of lifestyle were they living, bro?
That's a good question. So I didn't come across a lot of dark um, uh, Panamanians. There's definitely a lot of I guess what you might consider like brown skin Panamanians, and then lighter skin Panamanians, and then white Panamanians. Those, it's going to span the spectrum. But the dark Panamanians, I actually didn't see a ton of them. So I'm thinking that's probably because I was in like more of the richer areas. But um, the you know the peanut butter colored, and the mulatto colored and yellow colored and white skinned Panamanians. Obviously, it's gonna vary from folks that clearly have money in the way they dress and the cars that they drive, to like just what you might consider maybe middle class or lower middle class Panamanians.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. So language, brother. Were you speaking Spanish or English there, brother? And what's the best way to communicate? What language do you communicate there in Panama?
I was predominantly speaking Spanish while I was there. I know a good bit of conversational Spanish. I still have a long way to go, but I know enough to not have to rely on Google Translator about 80-90% of the time. Um, my suggestion to guys would be, or anyone in general, would be to try and learn Spanish, as much as you can before going. But even if you only know like a few words, like hola, ¿cómo estás? And you know, you know, mi nombre es Edwin and all that, and I'm from America, yo soy de Estados Unidos. Um, Even if you only know like a few words, if you're in like the touristy areas, they know enough English. They know a decent amount of English. Especially if you're going to like the restaurants in the touristy areas, the museums, the rooftop bars. They're gonna know enough English to be able to um, um, help you, service you, and make sure you have a good time and get what you want.
Awesome, awesome, brother, awesome. So next question for you, brother, is now in terms of weather. So how was weather like in Panama, brother?
So when I went, it was near the end of April, and that's really the start of their rainy season. And it rains. It, it it rains quite a bit until like I think like November. So I had a mixture of both sun and rain. My advice to brothers would be to probably go anytime between like the beginning of December and the middle of April. Maybe the end of April, you can still, you're still gonna have, I'd say, decent weather more than half the time, but there are gonna be times where it'll pour, for 10, 15 minutes straight. And that's the beginning of the rainy season. And if you're trying to completely avoid that, I would say between January and like the middle of April at the latest. I went from like April 20th to April 28th. So I had both a mix of sun and rain, but each day it was like um, 90 degrees Fahrenheit, or something like 30 something Celsius, 28 to 32 Celsius. It can get hot there. It can definitely get hot there. So bring your sunscreen.
Awesome. Yeah, it does get really hot. It gets very hot, bro. Incredibly hot. Um, so next question for you, bro, is now so nightlife, brother. So did you party in Panama City, brother? Did you have fun there? Break down the nightlife for us, brother.
Good question. So um, as I, move into my late 30s, I'm kind of moving away from like the club scene and moving more towards, high-end restaurants and rooftop bars and high-end lounges, cigar lounges. So when I went, I partook more in that scene than anything else. Um, but from what I experienced, it was absolutely fantastic. A1, first class, um, high end, rooftop. They actually, Panama City has a lot of rooftop bars, a lot of rooftop bars. Unfortunately, I only made it to two, um, but the two that I went to, one was Sama and the other was Terat. Uh, they're nice, high quality, live music, great bartenders, great drinks, great places to watch the sunset. A lot of people come out, uh, men, women, couples. A lot of people dressed well. It's just an all around good vibe, and especially with good weather. You're dressed well. It's a good time. It's a good time. And cigar lounge. If you're a guy that's into that, they got a couple of decent cigar lounges. You can go pick a cigar of your choice. The folks there know English and they can help you, and they'll set you up with something that you want. And then a lot of the high end restaurants. I mean, like they're like really really nice, and I mean it'd be comparable to something you'd find in the States, but you're paying Panamanian prices. So for for cheap, you can get like a first class experience, in terms of like dining, in terms of nightlife.
Amazing, brother. How do you spell those clubs you mentioned?
Yeah, let me type it in the chat. So Sama Sky Lounge, that's one rooftop bar that I went to, and then another one that I went to, Tarat Rooftop Lounge. Yeah, good places you can go to if you want to see the sunset, if you want to take a nice date there, or you're just trying to, trying to enjoy the vibe, night vibe in Panama, solo, good spots. Also went to let's see, Valentino Siesta Cigar Lounge. That's in San Francisco as well, so I went there. Um, and then they've got like a nice high end restaurants, high quality restaurants. Bruto Sushi. Uh, went there. Went to Sissi, nice Italian restaurant. Check that out. Um, yeah, you know, I think if nightlife is a staple of your traveling itinerary, and that's like really important to you, like Panama City definitely has a lot to offer. And there's tons of there's like there's more than two sky lounge, more than two rooftop bars. So that's just all I had time to make it out to. Um, but there's definitely more.
Amazing, amazing, brother. So, brother, we're gonna go on to the woman aspect here in the last 29 minutes of our live stream here. And if you else you want to touch upon, brother, before we go on there, that before we go on to the woman part.
Before I do, before we do, can we take like a 3 minute intermission? I gotta run to the restroom.
Of course, brother, of course.
Cool.
I'll put you on mute. Okay, you are on mute for privacy, brother. I'm gonna get some water as well, brothers. Please. Okay, hold on. Okay, we'll be back in 3 minutes.
I'm back, bro.
Okay, let me know when you're back, Johnny.
I am back, sir.
Okay, awesome, bro. Awesome. So let's carry on, brothers. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. So now I'm gonna ask you, Mr. Johnny, right? What is, in my opinion, bro, the most important question in the history of mankind? Okay.
Sure.
It is a question, brother, that has transcended centuries upon centuries, brother. Okay. It's a question, brother, that is so pure powerful and potent. It can turn water into wine and vice versa. A question so powerful, brother, it can cause volcanoes and seismic waves, brother, to cause earthquakes and tsunamis, brother. Okay. A question so strong, right? And so strong-willed, it can stop a meteorite from destroying planet Earth. Okay. A question so well known, Mr. Johnny, that even aliens, right, that in outer space get shot at the question. Yeah, everyone knows this question, brother. That even aliens know. Okay, this question. The question is, Mister Johnny, are the women in Panama checking heavy for black men and passport bros?
You get creative every time you ask that. More creative every time. I mean, I would say on the whole, um, y- you definitely pique their interest, and they'll key on you if they see you. So like overall, I would say yeah, and it's precisely for that reason because I mean even when I was down there, and yeah, I did see black men and black women there. When I was walking throughout the malls and going out to eat at restaurants, um, just walking around in general, I didn't see like a lot of just young brothers in their 20s and 30s walking around. And so like when I was in the grocery stores and in the malls, excuse me, um, and at restaurants, I was definitely getting looks, getting eyes put on me. Um, not and I've been around, so it's like there have been places where I've gotten like a lot of interest, high interest, a lot of stares, and places where oh, I mean, you're okay, you're just another tourist. Um, and I'd say yeah, Panama's probably like in the middle, but maybe leaning, but like leaning more towards oh wow, we got a brother here. So yeah, I would say on the whole, yeah. Just going by you know some of the looks and some of the stares that I was getting at some of the places I was at, and definitely when I had like a date with me, uh, yeah, for sure, it was definitely getting looks, getting keyed on.
So, brother, let's talk about that date of yours, or let's talk about the dates you went on, brother. Right. So,
Mm,
my first question to you would be, how did you meet the woman in the first place that you went on dates on, brother? The woman, break it down for us, brother. The profiles.
mm. Uh, sure. I'll go into it a little bit. It was more of it was more something that was like set up and arranged. She wasn't a local. She was we'll say she was a tourist, half Italian, half Albanian.
Cool.
And yeah, without giving a ton of details because I know this is Panama focused. I convinced her to, accompany me that the last weekend I was in Panama. And we were out, we were dressed to the nines and getting looks and getting gazes and whatnot. So in a manner of speaking, I kind of like brought sand to the beach, right? Because normally guys would try to get something local, uh, wherever they're at. But I've had quite a few Latinas at this point, and I was kind of like feeling Latinaed out. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because I've been pairing up with Latinas since like early 2023. Yeah, late 2022. So I wanted a break from that. I look at women as like different flavors nowadays. So, um, yeah, I wanted something different. So her and I were there, um, in Panama, but yeah, no, not not as much, not like I didn't like, so I didn't like date any of the locals there. Um, but what I'll say in terms of like the local woman, you know, they they kind of like some of them like remind you of like Colombian women to some degree, because they border Colombia, Panama, Colombia, and Venezuela used to be like one country. So um, yeah.
Damn. Okay, interesting, brother. So you spent a lot of time with this Italian Albanian chick in Panama.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I
okay,
did.
awesome, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming your eyes were probably wandering. Did
Yeah,
you so?
they were. Absolutely they were. I mean, so here's the thing, right? Because I don't think anything is. I don't think any country is topping, my top three, which are Colombia, Brazil, and Tanzanian woman. Um, those women, they're just in a class all their own. But but Panamanian women, they're not to be slept on. They really aren't. Because there's a lot of them that are built slim thick, long dark hair. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of them that are good looking. There's a lot of them that are good looking, without a
Damn,
doubt.
flip, damn. So, but obviously it's racially diverse. So mixed race, peanut butter brown skin chicks, Chinese chicks. Did you see that as well, there, bro? Chinese chick, Asian looking chicks.
I I I saw one. I definitely saw one. Um, which kind of takes me. It almost took me back a little bit. But then I remember, Chinese people are everywhere, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised that they're also there in Panama. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like diversity, there's white skinned Panamanians, mulatto colored Panamanians, peanut butter brown skinned Panamanians. There's dark Panamanians. Um, they span the whole rainbow. They span the whole rainbow. And they got in terms of body types, a decent selection to pick from. Um, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, if you go to into some of these malls and grocery stores, like you'll see women that'll make you turn your head, like I mean, like it wasn't like it wasn't like Colombia, or Brazil, or Vancouver or Tanzania, but like it's up there. It's approaching it. You know what I mean? Very,
Damn.
very, very, very good looking, captivating woman, without a doubt.
But did you interact with some of these women like customer service or just maybe in a hotel? And if you did so, what was their vibe like and their personality, brothers? And did they use femininity, submissiveness, cooperation? Break it down for me, brother.
They do, man. They do. I interacted with some, mostly in restaurants. Um, definitely in the hotel too. But like the really good looking ones were in the restaurants. That served food, waited on me, and they're just they're just really good looking, and they're all smiles, of course, especially when you're speaking Spanish or trying to speak Spanish. They appreciate that. They admire that you're trying to talk in their language. um, and they're just very warm and receptive, very warm and receptive. Just a completely different experience from what you would experience in the United States. Like, just when you try to when you try to have small talk with, like, chicks in the United States, I mean, it's just like I don't even want to think about it. I don't even, because it'll probably put me in a bad mood. But when you're over there, I mean, they're just so feminine, and they're so upbeat, and they're so lighthearted, and they're smiling. I mean, they're smiling. You know what I mean? Like, to have women smiling at you, you know, and it's such a small thing. Um, but I guess when you live in a society where you go without that on a daily basis, and then you immerse yourself in a society where you're getting that all the time, it's just like a different vibe, and it just feels good, feels human. you know.
Damn, flipping heck, incredible, incredible. So, uh, okay, so, ooh, damn, Lord have mercy. Brother, did you see Chinese chicks, brother, with black men in Panama?
I only saw one. Um, I think I only saw one Chinese chick, but she was by herself. Yeah, it,
Because,
I,
brother,
I I must have
gone.
missed the most of the tourist season because I mean I would imagine that like between January and most of or like the beginning of April is when everyone is visiting and going. So I would imagine that's probably where uh, when I would have been likely to see more of them.
I'll be real with you, brother. Right, it is an absolute trip when you hear a Asian-looking chick speaking Spanish in a Spanish accent. I'm thinking, am I in the Twilight Zone? Is this am I in the Twilight Zone right now?
That
This is
doesn't sound
it's
real.
it doesn't sound real, bro. I'm
Chinese
like,
chick
what?
speaking Spanish? I don't
Speaking
think.
Spanish, brother, with the
Yeah, I don't
accent.
think. I've never seen that in my life. I've never seen that in my life, bro. You've seen something rare, I think.
Pokemon, bruv.
Like something like Articuno, like a really rare Pokemon that you may never see in your whole life, except in some remote part of the world.
I was shocked, man. So, okay, so woman wise, Panama ticks the boxes there. Fantastic, bro. Did you come across non-Panamanian chicks? Because in my time there, I came across Cuban chicks, Venezuelan chicks, and Venezuelan
Yeah,
women, right, brothers, right, are top 10 women ever. But that's for another discussion. Venezuelan, I came across Colombian, Costa Rican. Did you come across that as well, bro?
yeah. I came across like a Colombiana who was like servicing me at an Italian restaurant and I got to know her a little bit. She was, oh my God, the way she was built. I'm like, damn. I mean, Lord have mercy. I mean, I don't, I don't have any words, man. I'm like, how is it that you have? I mean, you have a rear end table behind you. I'm like, my God, you know. I mean, she was short too. She was one of those white looking Colombianas, but and I could tell she was a little bit older, but man, normally I don't go. No, normally I wouldn't even talk to older chicks, but I mean, this chick would have you reconsidering. She would have you reconsidering. Um, I spotted an Argentine, like a pair of Argentinians, at another restaurant I was at. Um, so yeah, there's definitely chicks from other countries there, for sure, and they're competing too. You know,
Mm, big
they're
time.
competing.
Yeah, they are, bro. They are. Um, so, brother, when you were with your Albanian Italian chick, immerses, brother. So, did you see? Was she jealous that women were checking you out? Did she? Did you feel that woman that you were speaking with? They kind of, wanted to take you from her. Break it down for us, bro.
I don't get the sense that the chick I was with was like, getting jealous of anything. But I do remember seeing other chicks at other restaurants checking me out, and keying on me that that I had the date that I had. And if I can make like, a side comment to the brothers in the chat, brothers that are listening to the stream, when you take a chick out in public, when you take her out to eat, should you decide to do that, make sure she looks good. Okay, make sure she's in shape, she's dressed well, right? And it's clear that she's following your lead because that does wonders for our image. Okay, we, as a community, we've taken L's in the U.S. and in the UK, but abroad, that's not how we move. We're not going to take L's abroad, okay? Because our image is our own abroad. It's not tarnished abroad. It's sky high. It's positive. It's largely positive, overwhelmingly positive. And it just looks good if you're a brother and you're sitting across from a really good looking chick. She's in shape and she's in a dress and she's in high heels. Her makeup is on point. Her hair is on point. Her nails are on point. You know what I mean? And she's giving you all the attention that you want and deserve. And that sends a message. That sends a
It
message.
does.
Like it sends a message
So
to them. Like, oh, go on.
no, carry on, bro. So you got cut off there. Carry on.
It just sends a a message. It reinforces the fact that black men, black Western men, we're only going to deal with the best. We're only taking the best. Period. And if a woman isn't the best, she's not bringing the best. She's not going to make the cut. She's not going to be taken out. And it's going to discourage the women that you know aren't quite bringing it in terms of femininity, attitude, and physical looks. Is going to discourage those women from even thinking that they got a chance. Okay, and that's what I want to do, because in America, I mean you got the bottom of the barrel woman thinking that they deserve you, thinking that they should get a chance. I mean, literal rats thinking that they deserve to be taken out by you and dated by you. We can't we can't give the woman outside of America that imagery. So just wanted to say that.
Facts, absolute facts, bro. So, Mr. Johnny, those are all my questions, brother. Do you have any closing statements, bro?
Um, I'd say the one thing I'd say is, you know, get on if you're not already on this journey, get on this IT journey, get on this tech journey. Find a way to work remote. Um, Invest in building yourself. Invest in learning another language. Figure out some of the countries that you want to go to. Um, don't invest in American women. Or if you really if you want to, I mean, if you're if you think dealing with them on a professional standpoint to grow your network is worth your time, then you can do that. But focus on cultivating um, opportunities that will take you out of the matrix. Because I think that's the only way we're gonna make it. They're the not every guy's gonna make it. Um, but the ones that do, like me, like you, Theo, and all the guys that are training under you too, that's gonna be the new crop of black men, American men, uh, British men that escape and form a new community abroad. Um, that's the only thing that's gonna save us.
Absolute facts, Johnny. Absolute facts, bro. Oh wow! Shout out to Mr. J. What the? Shout out to J Bones in the building. What's up, J Bones? Hope you're doing well, brother. Been a minute, brother. Hope you're healthy and safe, brother. And obviously, brother, more success your way, brother. What's up, IP? Hope you cool. Shout out to the brother. Pay attention to his statement when you go out to these countries. Date their best woman. Go for the best. Absolute facts, man. Please go for the best woman. And I think you seen on my channel, right? You see me cold approach dime German chicks, dime Japanese chicks, dime Panamanian chicks. You see me on camera do it, right? You see the women's faces, how pretty they are. We can do it, right? I don't want to see brothers going to board dating fat white women like it is in the West, brothers.
Facts.
I know it's a problem. It's a problem in America, but it's also a problem too in the UK. It's just brothers who are in suits, right, holding hands with fat white women. I'm like, what's
Really?
going on?
Oh
Yeah,
man,
bro.
in suits
It's
and holding
suits.
hands with fat white women. Oh
In
man, we're
suits,
taking
bro.
L's. Oh man, We're taking
Major
L's.
L's, bro. So I don't want to see a brother who's in Germany dating a fat white German woman, or in Japan dating a fat Japanese woman. Skinny, slim, thick woman who's in shape, facially, good looking. No ugly chicks, man. Because we're the prize. We really are the prize abroad. So don't lower the market value of ourselves when we go abroad. Isn't that right, Johnny?
Amen, man. Don't lower the bar, guys. Don't lower the bar. You got to remember that when as an American man, you can change most of these chicks' lives. Okay, you can change most of these chicks' lives. Just by, I mean, spending time with them, teaching them English, taking them out, and if you want to go all the way, getting married to them. I mean, you can uh, afford a life for them that they otherwise would not get from another man in their country. Okay, and so because you have the ability to do that, don't punch below your weight. Don't punch below your weight, right? Punch above your weight. Go for the best. Set your sights high. Set the bar high. Set the expectation that, if you're, a black Western man, you know, you're not sagging your jeans, you're not going around with a wave cap with gold teeth or anything like that. You're articulate, you're educated, you know, you got something that's bringing in money, you're stable, okay? Go for the best. You're an accomplished Western man. You know what I mean? Go for the best. We shouldn't be seeing and hearing stories of black men dressed well, holding hands with a wide back. That is unacceptable. That's unacceptable, guys. Okay? Not
A
outside the
wide back.
West. Not outside the West, please. And look, if you're inside the West, I'd rather you just stay single. I'd rather at the very least, don't take that out in public. Don't take that out in public. I understand guys have needs, and you know, maybe you want to, if it just don't take that out in public. Maybe after 11 o'clock, if you really feel you need that, have her come through. But I wouldn't even do it. I would rather just stay focused on me, stay focused on my grind, stay in the gym, study, keep learning the language that interests me, and when I'm ready to take a trip abroad, only dealing with high quality prospects in the way of women. Period. Period. It's either that or I'm flying solo.
Facts, bro. Absolute facts. So let's wrap up the stream. So, brothers, thank you very much for the support. Much appreciated. Thank you to Mr. Johnny for coming on here and sharing his incredible Panama experience. Hope you bros can make it out there. Of course, Python course opening up in beginning of July 2024 for signups, and then we'll have the course on that month. So make sure you look out for that, brothers. Creative consultations, join the Patreon for more about traveling and how freaky Panamanian women are in the gym. Got a Panama version on the Patreon from a different brother. Go check it out. And aside from that, cop the merch, support the movement, support what I do. Have a great weekend, brothers, and I'll see you, brothers, on the next